Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look here. This is a super bronzy look. There's lots of lashes and then there's a pale blue waterline. As soon as I saw this liner come in the mail from Makeup Forever, I knew I wanted to use it, and it's just a really easy way to incorporate color without being too bold. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, then just go ahead and keep on watching. I went ahead and primed my skin with the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. It's just my favorite primer. And then I'm going to be using the new Milani foundation that everyone has been raving about, and it's for good reason. This foundation is amazing. It gives you really great coverage without being too cakey, and I love that the warm shades have a nice yellow base to them, especially from the drugstore. That's really hard to find. And for all my brushes today, I am going to be using this Glam Brush Kit from SLMissGlam. She just has like the most beautiful girly stuff, and I love these brushes. This is the first time that I use them, so I'm going to be giving you kind of my thoughts along the way, but I will tell you right now, I love them and they're just so pretty to look at. But I will have all the ones that I'm using listed in the description bar, and I am just applying the Becca Brightening Under Eye Corrector first, and then going over that with my Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer in the shade Fair. This is going to help conceal those dark circles even more and also to highlight underneath the eyes. After the under eyes are blended out, I am just using some Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Fair and highlighting the center of my face to keep it nice and bright, especially for a bronzy glowy look. I love to focus on the skin, and this is just going to help you look nice and awake. I am of course using my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder to set my under eyes, and I always use that same damp sponge to apply that. But for the rest of my face, I'm going to be using her classic powder brush, and I am using the Bye Bye Pores from IT Cosmetics. This is one of my favorite powders to set my face with because it's so finely milled and it just gives your skin a nice airbrush look to it. And then I'm just going to be bronzing my skin up with one of the other powder brushes in the brush kit, and I am using the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion. I love this because it just gives you the right amount of warmth without being too overpowering. And then I'm going to be contouring with the Kat Von D Shade Light palette. I feel like I haven't used this in a really long time, but I am just taking that along the hollows of my cheekbones, also around my temples, and then the sides of my chin, and of course I will be contouring my nose. I love me a good contour, and this seriously is my favorite contour palette. People ask me all the time, like, what is my favorite contour palette, and this is it. So I don't know what I've been doing not using it in tutorials because I use it all the time. Now I'm just using her small contour brush and blending out my nose contour. And then for my cheeks, I am using my favorite blush for like bronzy looks like this. I use it all the time in the spring and summer. This is Madly from NARS, and I'm just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and then blending that back. But it did look just a little bit too harsh for me, so I went back in with the stippling brush and I just went over the edges and made sure that everything was nicely blended and looked a little bit softer. So moving on to the eyes, I'm going to be priming with Benefit's Air Patrol, and I'm just going to be blending that out first, and then I'm going to be applying this shade Thanks a Latte on top of that. Anytime I do a base like this, I always make sure to set it with a powder that's either translucent or really close to my skin tone so that everything blends really nicely. For my eyes, I'm using the Holy Grail palette from VioletVoss. This is a really beautiful warm tone palette, and I'm first starting out with the Fluffy Deluxe brush in the shade Bestie. It's a really beautiful kind of just warm peachy shade, and I'm applying that into the crease, just back and forth motions. You guys know the drill. You've seen me do a transition shade a million times. Next, I picked up the shade Are You Kitten Me on the Fluffy Crease Brush, and this is a really beautiful shade. It's a nice warm brown, and I'm taking that on the outer corner first and depositing most of the color there, but then I just take whatever's left on my brush and take that all the way throughout my crease. For the lids, I'm using the shade Toffee. It's a really beautiful metallic gold, and I'm actually using the concealer brush from this kit, and I am using that to apply it all over the lid. I think it did an amazing job, but I did want a little bit more in the crease, so I picked up the shade Brownie Points, and you can see I'm using a very light hand. I just wanted a little bit more definition to the eye without making it look too harsh. I still want it to be super blown out, so just use a very light hand and apply that to the outer corner again first, and then just take whatever is left on your brush and sweep that up into the crease. So I totally forgot to get a clip, but I am using the shade Crystal and highlighting underneath the brow bone and also the inner corners of my eyes. And this is a very strong highlight, so if you don't like it that strong, then you could just blend it out a little bit. But then I'm just taking a black shadow. I'm using Correct from MakeupGeek in this small liner brush, and I am just getting this as close to my lash line as possible, trying to keep that line really, really thin. I'm basically just doing this to fill in any gaps in my lash line since I am going to be applying some false lashes. And right now I'm just giving my lashes a nice coat, and then the lashes that I'm going to be applying are the House of Lashes Siren Lashes, one of my favorites. And now for the fun part, I am taking this aqua blue liner from Makeup Forever. These launch next month and they are so worth the wait, you guys. These are amazing. And then I'm basically just mimicking whatever I have on the lids on the lower lash line. So I'm taking Are You Kitten Me first, and I am basically just blowing that out on the lower lash line, making that really soft. And then I'm going back in with Brownie Points and that same little liner brush, and I am getting that as close to that lash line as possible. I feel like the contrast between this shade and the blue is just really beautiful. And then I'm going to apply some mascara to my lower lashes. And then comes the most time-consuming part of this whole tutorial. I am applying some individual lashes to my lower lash line, and I did 4 lashes on each eye. I kept them closer to the outer corner of the eye and in the middle. I didn't want to bring them too far in, but this takes patience and a lot of time. But it's really worth it if you have like no lashes like I do. So I feel like there are 2 key steps to this, and one is to use a very tiny amount of glue, and the next thing is to do what I'm doing here. Once the lash is actually attached, I'm just going to go from underneath it and just kind of give it a little zhuzh up, and I feel like it just makes it look more natural. And for my skin, I'm going to be finishing off by highlighting. I'm using the Anastacio Glow Kit in the shade That Glow, and I'm using Bubbly, and I'm applying that to the highest points of my cheeks, the tip of my nose, my chin, and then right above the arch of my brow. Like, look how much that brings this look together. I just love highlighter so much. For the lips, I'm using the Perfect Nude Lip Liner from Too Faced first and just giving my lips a little bit more definition. This is another lip liner that's great. That's basically the same shade as my lips. And then for my lip color, I'm going to be using the Naked Liquid Lipstick from Anastasia. It's a really beautiful nude, and it has a little bit of a warmer undertone to it. So I think it looks really beautiful with this bronzy look. I'm applying that all over the lips, and then I'm going to let that sit for a second and kind of dry. And then I will be finishing it off with my must-have gloss for spring and summer. So if you don't already own Bite Beauty lip gloss in the shade Honey, you need to run out and get it right now. It is such a beautiful nude lip gloss, and it has gold reflex in it, which is so beautiful. But once you get that on, your look is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!